Probably good, but it's another Tuesday night. Hashtag sports is in the building. Ladies and gentlemen of Hashtag Nation, welcome once again. I am Mario. That is Paul over there on the other phone, if you're just joining us. Paul had a chance to fly solo for the post game because I was actually at the game. So first, I just want to ask Paul, how was it flying solo for the post game?
Uh, it was like I was a dog with my head out the window, except I was in an S car, right? I was going 220 miles an hour, my face being ripped off my skin. It was fun, but it was a lot.
That is
It was.
I love it.
That.
I mean, I love it. I watched it. I had a chance to watch it on my way home. I was a little worse for wear and it wasn't because of the normal chaos and mayhem that happens at Bills game. It was ridiculously hot, and I was having some trouble. They ran out of water at a couple of the vendors, and Drew from Rock Power Report kind of almost got kicked out by security. I'll let him tell that story on his podcast. Be sure to check it out. They're on Podbean, the Rock Power Report. If you search Rock Power Report on Podbean, you're going to check them out. If you guys are here, you're new to coming into Hashtag Sports, right above my phone, we have our Twitter handle, and right above Paul's, we have the subscribe button. So if you like what you hear for Bills content and you like Bills content, please subscribe. And we're also on Sportscaster as well. So we're going to be doing live play-by-play this Sunday against the Patriots. Paul, if I could just kind of step away from the Bengals game just for a second, because I know we're going to start with that. A lot of I'm in a Facebook group, NFL Warzone, and there's a lot of Patriots fans in there. And I just posted, "Come on, Patriots fans, I want all the smoke." And the responses that I got from those individuals was, to say the least, hilarious. Like that, the view of Buffalo outside of Buffalo is still same old Bills. They're gonna get killed by 30. They're gonna do this. They're gonna do that. And I think it's very, very different now. I think the infrastructure for the Bills is very different, as you and I have seen in many years. The way that this team is being, I mean, there were times that the Billsy thing to do in the past, in 2019, they would have been 1-2 at this point. I think in years past, like Billsy things to do would have been to lose to the Bengals and let one get away at MetLife Stadium against the Jets. What is your take on the current state of the Bills? And before we get into the Bengals, how are they viewed around some people that you talk to around the nation and the NFL? I know you're typing. I just caught you off guard.
Yeah. So nobody takes the Bills seriously, right? That's just the reality of it. Nobody takes the Bills seriously, and that's just what comes with the territory of being a Bills. I think you kind of have to win respect, and they're not there yet. You think having one of the best records in the NFL right now would do that, but again, you're only 3 games in. You earn respect around the country, and there's no bigger spotlight than beating the Patriots, right? I mean, that's that in my opinion. If you're going to make a statement in the NFL, this is the game that you do it. You take over the AFC East, and you just start a roll. And I think we all kind of looked at it, Mario, and you and I hope me here, when we started looking at the schedule, we thought the first 6 games, Bills could conceivably go 4-2 and even drop a game they probably shouldn't.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And be comfortably at 4-2. Yeah.
Because we were going on history. We were going on history of the Bills.
Right. Right. They're right where they should be. Right. They won the 3 games that has played out. They are supposed to win. And we've seen better. I mean, I don't want to say that. We've seen Bills teams lose games to the Bengals, right? Games that they were supposed to win. We've seen Bills teams drop games that they're supposed to win.
Yes.
This is one that they have to win. Well, let's see what happens, right? I think that's a very big difference. And I think a lot of times, there's a lot of hype that goes into these Patriot games. And, I've got a lot to say about the upcoming Patriots game, but as far as the Bengals were concerned, this was a game that you should win. And they did. Yeah. That's it. I mean, it wasn't pretty. 15 minutes of it made me want to put my fist through a table, but the truth is they still ultimately won, and that's really all that matters.
Yeah, absolutely. Being at the game and seeing the feel for everything that was going on. I've never been to a home opener. I've been to a lot of Bills games. I never was at the home opener. It was just quite an experience. Watching it live, I would always watch different things live. And I told you on the phone earlier this week, it was so funny because when I was watching the game, I was with Drew and Chris from the Rock Power Report, and where they were watching the game, and like times when people would react to certain things that happened on the field, I'd still be just stoic faced watching and then trying to see what was going on. I like to watch a lot of the offensive line play because you can't see a lot of that because we were in the end zone. We were in the one end zone, so you get to see these guys pull, these guys who gets let in, where they're blitzing, what's going on, and it was really fun. To watch and have that experience. But as we talked about on the pregame on Sportscaster on Saturday, exclusive to Sportscaster. So if you guys aren't a fan on Sportscaster, please be sure to do that. It's at the links in the description. But the thing about that is we said that the Bengals are always a thorn. I mean, you said that the Bengals are always a thorn in the Bills' side, no matter what the record is, no matter what time of the year. It just always seems like the Bengals play well against the Bills, and after a 14-point lead, a lot of people were pretty excited in the stadium. They're going to blow this team out. This is, step on their necks, put their foot on the gas. I mean, it seems so apropos that our channel should talk about putting their foot on the gas and running up the score, but that's not
All
really
right.
that's not really it's not really what happened. And I when I looked over at the scoreboard, I was like, they're up 14-0. I don't see them doing a lot of things that I like, and I don't think things during that game. And I may take some heat on this, but they were doing things during that game that weren't sustainable, and they had to change what they were doing. And I think you saw that near the tail end of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth. Dawson Knox treating two Bengals like the wildlife reserve, just smacking them around down the sidelines was an amazing sight to see. And it was funny because the stadium crowd was very quiet, or at least quiet for a Bills game at that point. And then when he made that catch down the sideline and
Yeah.
just barreled over two guys, I couldn't even hear myself. It was so loud in that
Oh,
stadium.
I'm sure it was
It
insane.
was it was
I'm sure
unbelievably
it was insane.
ridiculous. Oh yeah, it was, and it was so funny. But it was, to get back to your point. The Bengals always play well against the Bills. It was a very winnable game for the Bills. They once again had to dig deep and come back, but a lot of the feedback that I'm getting from Patriots fans and or around the stuff that I'm reading is that, well, the Bills don't have a shot, and I have a completely opposite feeling going into the Patriots game than I did going into the Bengals, Giants, and Jets games, because
Mm.
it's like the Bills are really good at playing the underdog role. They're really good at that. They play really good at home. But as we saw, the Bengals came out and they may have taken them too lightly. Brian Dable was getting a little too cute with some of his play calls. You start talking about, hey, it's a 3rd and 1, 3rd and short, any of that stuff, and you run a jet sweep. Like, really? Is this serious? But first thing I want to get to.
I mean, but
Yeah, go ahead.
on that, it's here's the deal, right? So we talk about um, what the Patriots do to a lot of teams, right? Is when they give up a few scores, one of the hard things about the Patriots is they'll start putting things on film that aren't really things that they're interested in doing to their next two opponents,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, absolutely.
So it's just stuff that they put on film to annoy coaches and scouts of the organizations that they're about to play. Like, okay, listen, we have no interest in running this play at this time, so let's just run it anyway. And if it works, it works. We're up 3 scores. Who cares? And remember, Brian Dable fell from that tree, although pretty hard, because he's been an OC in multiple places, but you have to lesson learned. You're up 2 scores. You could start putting some stuff on film, but the truth is you can't do it on 3rd and 1,
No.
right? That's you do it. You can do it on 2nd and 6. You can do it in weird situations, but on 3rd and 1, come on, come on. You could do better than that.
Yeah,
Even if that play had worked, I would have thought it was stupid.
yeah, and to your point that you said many many moons ago when we were doing the drive during the summer, you said, listen, the defense usually always has the advantage in the first 6 weeks because the offenses are still, a lot of them are very new. Easy defenses are the easiest thing to fix, in my opinion. So if you look at it from that standpoint, for about 6 weeks, the offenses tend to struggle, unless you're in Kansas City. who already has an established offensive coordinator, head coach, Patrick Mahomes, slinging the ball everywhere. And that being said, if we came in, I think what this game showed, and I saw it firsthand, is what big a deal John Feliciano is to this offensive line. I think that
Yeah.
was the number one thing that I saw, and I saw it live. How big he is to this offensive line. Ford looked like he was lost sometimes, and it was not good. It was not pleasant, and he's such a big deal to this offensive line. And losing him would be like losing Morse in a lot of ways. So Morse was all over the dang field, snapping and pulling because Feliciano wasn't there. He couldn't do it. So a lot of that responsibility, I don't know if that was the design of the play that was specifically supposed to happen. Probably was, but because we've seen him pull before. But that was one of the things I saw him pulling a lot more on some of them outside runs,
Yeah.
just to try to get some guys in there. So watching the game at home, Paul, I know I watched the post game. What are some things that you take after the dust settled 24 hours later and you're not in the thick of it? What were some of the things that you noticed or want to talk about as far as the Bengals game goes?
So, first off, the Bills' run defense is really good. I mean,
Yeah.
you look at what they did to Bell, what they did to Barkley, and what they did to the tandem of Bernard and Mixon, and the Bills' run defense is really good, and we saw that at the beginning of last year too. Nobody could run, right? And I know that NFL teams figure you out eventually, right? But in the early going here, you cannot run on the Bills, which is something that the Bengals had to do. They had to be able to run the football because Andy Dalton couldn't complete a pass in the first half. The whole first half of football, you couldn't complete a pass. So you have to be able to run the football against the Bills. And I don't know of a team right now who would be able to do that. That was my biggest takeaway, honestly. Pass pro was a little rough,
Mm-hmm.
right? But this defense is nasty against the run, which couldn't be better setting up for this coming weekend.
Yeah, and everyone keeps talking. I mean, setting up for this weekend. I want to get back to the Bengals game. I don't want to talk too much about. That's usually on our Thursday
I know you do.
episode.
I know you do.
So, but I'm just salivating to talk about the Patriots right now. So, with the Bengals coming in, I mean, I talked about them trying to give the illusion that they had to run. I mean, Allen had more rushing yards than both Mixon and Bernard combined coming into this game. They were going to try to have to set up the run in order to get Boyd and Ross and them guys on the outside open, and then also Tate. You thought it was Brandon Tate. It was actually a different Tate. I guess that's just a quota. They have to have one wide receiver on the Bengals that's named Tate.
I did. I chuckled. I know we're in the same jersey number. I just had to chuckle.
Yeah.
I had to chuckle.
Yeah, it was fun. But it was to your point. If you talk about putting things on tape, if you think you have a team beat and you're going to beat them, I don't know why the Bills would think they're at that point now in the season. But if you think you have a team beat and you're going to beat them handedly, you start putting stuff on film. Maybe it was the fact that Feliciano's out, Ford's in. It could be a factor. Maybe it was the fact that they were running plays that they may never run, and they were just testing them out in a game. I thought it'd be pretty suspect to do that, but as far as that goes, a lot of the guys were starting to leak up the middle because the Bengals had to blitz. The Bengals knew that Ford was in there and Nasecki was in there, so they started to try to attack the middle of that line, and in doing so, they got to Allen a few times, and Allen didn't make the best decisions in that game. However, if you want to talk about Josh Allen this year, the one thing that you have to take out of it, I believe, in my opinion, you got to take the accuracy discussion out of it. I mean, this guy's 66 for 103 with 7 drops. So if you add those drops in there, he's completing 71% of his passes. I mean, we'd have been happy with 63% or 64, and he's up to around 66 right now with his completion percentage and what he's doing. And it was those short intermediate throws. Daboll, like you said, fell off the New England tree. That's what they do. Get the ball out of your quarterback's hands and get it in the playmakers. I think going over the statistics, he has half of his yards are air yards. So he's actually given his receivers run after the catchability, which we haven't seen in Buffalo. A lot of times when Tyrod Taylor was the quarterback, he'd throw the ball that whoever the guy caught it, that's where he was. He stayed there. There wasn't a lot of run after the catch. So we're starting to see that a little bit more with Allen. It's starting to develop. He's starting to learn. in all respect, he's still a rookie. He's still making bonehead plays. That interception, having him run out of the pocket with the ball in his right hand, running to his left, that's just a football 101, man. I mean, not that I don't want to bag on the guy, but God, good God. I mean, you're rolling to your right, you're getting chased. Throw that thing in the sidelines. You have the arm strength, man. Why are you trying to make a play right there? You don't need to. Only bad things
Mhm.
happen trying to throw it back to the middle of the field or toward the middle of the field to a guy. So,
Right. Right. Especially when they're right next to him. Like it's
yeah. Uh,
the truth is that at forcing balls in, it's not like these guys were open even for a fragment of a second when he was staring at him.
yeah,
Like the mistakes that he's making, you have to just accept with a young quarterback, right?
absolutely.
Like these are
Yeah.
just mistakes you just have to understand are coming. A war coder, our war coder Red 01 says the intentional grounding call got in his head. I do actually agree with that, and this came up on the post game, and I want to get your opinion on it, Mark, because I think you'd have a good opinion, right? A
Okay.
good take on this.
All right.
So, and Billy Piano mentions is Singletary going to play Sunday. Bills were off today, so we don't really have an updated injury report just yet.
Mm-hmm.
It's still a little early in the week to be able to talk about that. Thursday, Friday is when we probably know if Singletary is available. I just saw it mentioned in there. So hamstrings are tough, man. Hamstrings are so we just kind of got to wait and see on that. But to my question to you, Mar. So the one thing I noticed about Allen was that the first 2 weeks, I don't know if it was just the play calls coming in. Dable was just calling the right plays against scheme, right? Where Allen looked really comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
But against the Bengals, he didn't look comfortable at all. Like I saw a very confident and comfortable quarterback who was willing to figure it out as he went the first 2 games. I did not see that against the Bengals. And I don't know if maybe that's just me or the same thing.
I'd like to chalk it up to familiarity. And I know the Bills and the Bengals don't play every year, but the coaching staff, the defensive coordinator, his name escapes me for the Bengals. He was actually a defensive backs coach for the Dolphins for a number of years. So if he's used to playing against the Patriots in a Patriot style offense, which is the Earnhardt Perkins system, he's going to be used to playing and defending against that type of system, and especially with a young quarterback. And we talk about, if we could just fast forward 1 second to the Patriots, you talk about Allen he's still young, he's still learning. That's what Belichick salivates over. All these well, Allen's not a rookie, but I think Belichick's like undefeated against rookies that he's played against. So that being said, I think it was a little bit of familiarity with the type of offense that Daboll runs, and the fact that this guy, I think he was with the Dolphins for like 4 years, the defensive coordinator for the Bengals. He was with the Dolphins for 4 years, so he knows about that offense. He knows how to defend it. He's seen it multiple times since he was with the Dolphins. So I think they were starting to throw some wrinkles that they didn't have the first 2 weeks on tape, that they didn't bring to Seattle, that they didn't bring to the 49ers, or they weren't able to bring to the 49ers because the 49ers just rolled them. But a lot of the things that I saw the Bengals do, especially live in person, was they didn't do things that they did in the first 2 games that I saw. They were doing so many different things to try to confuse, and they were shifting coverages. They were rolling to one side, rolling to the other side, and things that normal NFL defenses do, but they hadn't shown that. And they don't really have a lot of the horses, which is why it was so surprising, the fact that that was going on. And it also could be the fact that your starting right guard went down, he was out. So with Feliciano not in there, a guy who's usually making the line calls for Morris while Morris tries to get his feet wet, um, I'm sure Morris has it now because he had learned by fire now in this game, because Feliciano wasn't there. But you start to see what a big of impact that Feliciano has on that line in protecting Josh Allen, and why it was so vital
Yeah.
coming into this game. As far as the quarterback question, it was War. I'm sorry, let me scroll up a little bit. It was War Coder 1. He said that gets in his head. After playing the quarterback position, it's almost like you remember certain plays throughout the game that work, that that you need to make them. If you made a mistake, you got to make it up. You're never um, you're never scared to have an intentional grounding call, because the goal is to try to keep your
Mhm.
team in the game. So if you notice that outside the pocket, as Allen frequently is, and you're going out and you have to try to salvage something for your team, that's always something in your hip pocket as a quarterback that's a benefit to you. You know, if you try to get outside the pocket, throw it toward the line of scrimmage, get it out of there. I doubt that he would say he would take an interception over an intentional grounding penalty. So, in my respect, after I have to have
Mhm.
played the position, I know I didn't play it in the NFL. However, that's one of those things where I don't even think he thought about it. I think he was just trying to play hero ball, and that's still in him from last year. And that's one of those things that he needs to get out of him because he doesn't need to do everything. He's not at Wyoming anymore. He doesn't need to make every single play on the
Mhm.
field. He has playmakers around him that, hey, we go 3 and out, we go 3 and out. It sucks. We'll learn from it. We'll come back and, we'll pin them deep. We'll punt it, we'll pin them deep, and then we'll come back out. Just like the Giants tried to do to him many times. So,
Yeah, that's right. Well, and I part of the narrative that was playing in my head was you get all off season to get ready for the first 2 games of the season, right? So if you're going to be dialed in for the first 2 games of the season, that makes sense, right? Because you're going to be real comfortable. You're got a nice long look at whatever you needed to look at for preparing for those 2 teams. Because the first couple of weeks, you're not running real complicated schemes from out of the ball. You're not really hiding a whole lot. It's these teams, these defenses didn't get to play much together in the preseason, so there's a
mm-hmm.
lot that needs to gel.
Mm-hmm.
So I think as the season goes, we need to watch how Allen progresses through that, right? Because that lead time to get prepared for your next opponent gets shorter and shorter and shorter as the season. So I'm really, really excited to see how he accepts that challenge because the game Sunday was concerning because he looked uncomfortable,
To throw,
right? And
yeah,
maybe Feliciano was the big thing, right? Maybe that was a big piece of it.
I could see that. I could definitely see. I mean, because you didn't see the same kind of line play out of the offensive line. And here's the thing, too, Paul, and hashtag Nation. A lot of you probably know this, but I'm just going to say it again. Quality control. All right. A lot of times in the NFL, I don't know many things in the NFL, but I do know this. Quality control. Throughout the week that they were going to play the Bengals, all right, they already had their game plan in. They already had everything that was going to go on for the Bengals. During that week, their quality control were studying the Patriots, and they were game planning for the Patriots. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They game planned the week leading up to the Bengals. They were game planning for the Patriots, and now they're going to put the install in tomorrow. They're going to do all that stuff and try to, game plan for the Patriots. But the quality control was already working on it the week before. I'm wondering now, because maybe the Bills saw the Bengals as such a winnable game. Maybe some of their time was divided. Maybe the week leading up to the Giants game, they were trying to do quality control on New England. So maybe not all of the resources were put into the basket to go try to defeat the Bengals. Maybe half of the resources were devoted to going up against New England, where it has been they're the defending Super Bowl champions for a reason. I mean, you got a game plan for those guys. You got to try to see how many tricks you can pull up your sleeve as far as that goes. But perhaps maybe some of their attention was divided. And I don't know. I'm just guessing. But as far as quality control, they're usually studying the next opponent a week ahead of time. So, just a little nugget for some of you guys if you want to know about quality control in the NFL. That's usually how it works. So then they do the install Tuesday, Wednesday, and then they have a walkthrough Thursday, and then they're off on Friday and all that good stuff. So, or they may be practicing on Friday too. But yeah, that the thing about that's how it works. That's how it works in the NFL. So maybe they were trying a couple plays that not necessarily were meant for the Bengals, but not so much to show New England, but to say, hey, would this play be successful against New England? Let's try it out. All right. Not that we're putting it on tape for New England to see, but let's see how this works out. Let's see how this gels in a real live game. Okay. I doubt they would do that, but it could have been a possibility. I don't know. I don't know how you play that bad against the Bengals. But speaking of quality control, the thing that we said a lot, Paul, with the Bills, we said their quality control is great coming into a game. The script, everything. They can move the ball in the first quarter. They can move the ball in the first quarter, move first half. That lull that they have, middle, second quarter, all the way up to the fourth quarter, is concerning if you're going up against the greatest halftime adjustments team in the NFL history. This is a problem for me.
Mm-hmm.
This is a very big problem for me. Why the heck is there such a lull? Now, our teams outsmarting Dayball, because last year it wasn't that bad. The horrible pieces that he had to work with, they still would come out in the third quarter and they would somewhat move the ball. But now it's
Mm-hmm.
just it, you could take the third quarter off,
So,
take a nap.
so I think it comes with an offense that's still learning who they are, right? So if you don't have an identity exactly just yet, like, I don't think the Bills offense really has an identity just yet. It's a little harder to maintain what's successful, right? And also, let's not forget the teams adjust at halftime as well. So, I mean, we can complain that the Bills' offense isn't moving the football, but the other teams, I mean, they're doing their job,
Yeah.
right? They're figuring out what is happening and they're able to shut it down. Now, the only positive here is that fans sees what they see pull back, right? And they seem to be able to come through in the fourth quarter, but I don't think my vascular system can support another 13 weeks of it. Like, this is crazy. this is
Yeah.
this is crazy football. Uh, it's crazy football, but there's positives and negatives here, right? So there's that the third quarter is a desert. It's the Sahara. The Bills' offense is dreadful in the third quarter, but they still seem to be able to get it together enough. They've had to depend on some big plays. And without Singletary, you saw that it was harder to come up with big plays. When Dawson Knox catches for the longest reception tight end since like 1997, and he has to take two souls with him on the way down the field. That's a tough place to be, to have to depend on bigs. You depended on Singletary's big plays to get you back into week 1 and 2, and now you had to depend on a rookie, Dawson Knox. I mean, at some point, those breaks just aren't going to be there. And I mean, Dawson Knox was wide open. As soon as Allen saw that linebacker drop to the hook route underneath, there was nobody on Knox. No, there was no one near him. So I'm not saying that was play design, that was coverage. The linebacker dropped onto a route that he didn't need to cover.
The proverbial smash route, Paul, as we love to call it, as you know, those guys like to call that. We got some people coming in the chat. Dustin Lyons, if he actually becomes, he says, receivers can catch the ball in the third quarter and no one turns it over, we wouldn't be talking about it. It's execution, not game plan. And that holds a lot of weight. I mean, there have been times where the Bills have moved the ball. I mean, they're 8th in the NFL now in moving the ball in yardage. So it's not like they're not moving the ball. They are moving the ball. If you want to look at some things that are going on with the Buffalo Bills right now, they're 5th in time of possession. So they're not gassing their defense, and that's one of the most important things you can have. The defense played the least amount of snaps in this game against the Bengals, and they played all year. And it's been I believe it's been a steady decline. Let me just check my facts on that one right now for the defense, because I don't want to be wrong. Yep, it's been a steady decline. They played 72 snaps in the first game against the Jets, 70 snaps against the Giants, and they played 61. This past Sunday against the Bengals. So their snap counts are starting to drop.
That's a big tip.
That's a big tip. That's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge. But conversely, you start talking about the Patriots. I know we're giving the little teasers out there for Thursday. But you start talking about the Patriots, they're second. They're second in the NFL in time of possession. But a lot of things that we're going to talk about with the Patriots, I'm tired of hearing, the Patriots only gave up 3 offensive points and going on all this other stuff. We're not going to mention the fact that the Jets and the Dolphins only scored 1 TD the entire year offensively. All right, they couldn't score against the Browns. Are you comparing the Pats defense to the Browns? The Dolphins haven't scored on anybody since week 1 when Fitzpatrick threw a touchdown. They've scored on anybody. Like, they're awful. So, they weren't even able to score on the Cowboys, and the Cowboys gave up 21 points to the Redskins. Like, okay, the Patriots are doing very, very well this year. All right, they played 3 scrubs. What do you want? The Bills played 3 teams that suck too. Yeah, I understand that, but they don't have a 19-year quarterback there that's been playing there and knows all the intricacies of the offense. But that being said, the one stat that I want to get to, I think is very interesting. Allen has 24 passing first downs. I know it's kind of an obscure stat, but you would think a lot of those are to Beasley. They're not. 5 of them are to Beasley. 12 of them are to John Brown. So
that's fascinating.
So
Yeah, that's a cool little wrinkle of that stat. I would have assumed that
yeah,
at worst it was 50-50.
the thing that scares me though, previewing the Patriots, Belichick always takes away your most dangerous weapon. Now, the reason why John Brown has 12 first down receptions versus Beasley is because they're behind schedule. They're moving the ball, but they're behind schedule more often than not, which is why Brown has 12 first downs. So what's going to happen is
Mm-hmm.
that Bill Belichick always, for young quarterbacks, from what I remember and what I've studied, he takes away all of the throws at the sticks when it becomes 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, all that stuff. He'll take away the throws at the sticks, and he's been doing that for years, and it's worked. He makes the quarterbacks go second level. And by the time the quarterbacks are able to go second level and process that, they're sacked because of what's going on with the offensive line, defensive line play. I think if they're able to play their cards right, Allen's able to hit the second level. He really is able to hit the second level, but I really think that Beasley's the guy that may shine in this game, where he's going to have to catch a pass underneath
Mm-hmm.
that's less than the first down and make a first down. And the way that the Patriots are so fundamentally sound, it's going to be tough. So I just want to prepare Bills fans. If there's a few, like 2 or 3 plays, maybe even 4 or 5 plays this weekend, where Beasley catches a ball underneath on a 3rd and 8 and he gets 7 yards, don't be that guy on the couch that's yelling, like, why did you throw a pass? That's short of the marker. But everything was taken away. That's how Belichick rolls. That's how he does it. That's how he gets the ball back for his offense, and that's how they do it. So, in that respect, I just thought that was a nice little wrinkle to throw in there. I was very shocked when I saw that statistic that John Brown has 12 first down receptions to Beasley's 5. I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah, that's a big surprise. And to kind of echo your point about Belichick, and we had talked about, this on other episodes throughout the last couple of weeks, is and Mike Trotter actually brings it up. And I don't want to mix his words, so I'm just going to read what he says. Goes, is Allen going to be active this year on deep balls? So far, so. And I think that's a very fair assessment. Yeah, you're right. Allen really hasn't threatened any team with any deep passes. And don't think that that's not already something the Belichick knows, right? It's on those design plays that are deep routes, none of them have hit. Right? You're not getting Brown down the field. You're not getting Foster down the field. You're not getting Zay down the field. You're just not making these vertical passes that a lot of people right now on reputation are trying to cover for.
Mm-hmm.
And until you can start to hit some, teams are going to start that, and your 64% completion percentage Josh Allen is going to go away, and they're going to say, okay, go ahead, rookie, throw it down the field. I hope you have the time in the pocket. Good luck. Right, and that's happened. We might be this week.
Well, yeah, that's the thing I'm torn about, Paul, because the NFL historian that I am, I love documentaries about the NFL. I'm just a nut for them. But if you start talking about Belichick, number one, it could be one side where the Bills didn't want to tip their hand of what they're going to do in these first 3 games. They're not going to try to go deep. I mean, the only time they tried to go deep was that pass to Zay Jones, and then Hauschka had to kick a 60-some yarder to go up 14-0. Yeah, we haven't seen Allen throw the ball deep, and that could be by play design. That could be on purpose that they want to do it. They want to try to see. They want to try to manipulate it so that they get other teams to figure out that he's an underneath medium range guy, where he's going to throw it underneath medium range. That's where he's going to live until something amazing breaks open. That's the way Brady makes his living. He has a 7-yard passing tree that he throws about 15 passes within 10 yards of the line, and then when you all creep up into the box, he throws one over your head. At 42, he looks like he can still do that, unfortunately. But the thing with Allen, I think is really interesting, was that Belichick was, as we all know, defensive coordinator with Bill Parcells with the Giants. I have said many times that if I had to go for a historical quarterback to compare Allen, I would go with Randall Cunningham. Now, Allen has a faster release, but those guys both had cannons, and they both could run all over the place. When Belichick was with the Giants and he used to play the Eagles with Cunningham, they used to have a saying, GTFB, get the back. So anytime he scrambled, that's what he told his defensive backs immediately, because this guy could hit the ball anywhere on the field. So you have to think that a little bit, Belichick being a historian, that's going to be one of his mantras coming up this week. They say, listen, this guy could throw it anywhere 120 by 53. GTFB, man. GTFB. So I don't know if the deep ball is probably going to be in Allen's repertoire initially when he's scrambling, because when he starts scrambling, I think all the defensive backs are going to go back, and those underneath routes will be there. I think that's where Belichick is going to challenge Allen and say, listen, you can't hit underneath. You can't hit intermediate on the run. Let's see you do it. But unless Belichick watched the Giants game when he threw that pass, that was like 20-yard pass to Knox or Sweeney, I can't remember which one it was. He threaded it in there. Yeah, he can on the run. It seems like he's more comfortable throwing on the run anyway.
Yeah.
But the thing that I guess I would question coming into this game, if they run a trick play early, you could tell that's the fear that they have of the Patriots, and they shouldn't be. They really shouldn't be too terrified of the Patriots.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I agree with you, Mar. This is if you're looking at reasons to stay positive about the upcoming Patriots games, there's plenty.
Oh yeah,
of
absolutely.
You know, like there's a lot of things that if you wanted to turn this into into Buffalo's advantage, you could interpret that Buffalo has the advantage right now. From a health standpoint alone, the Bills are in way better shape than the Patriots are. Now, we know the Patriots have the reputation for seemingly being able to put anybody in anywhere and have them be effective. But I think the Patriots have benefited from the fact that teams fear them so much that they over-prepare for the simplest things. Mm-hmm. Like, remember when Cordell Patterson just torched the league 3 straight weeks on jet sweeps, right? You saw it a few times. They couldn't run the ball outside, so they used Cordell Patterson as a running back, and they ran him on jet sweeps, and teams couldn't stop him. Why? Every team in the NFL runs jet sweeps. Every team in the NFL runs jet sweeps. Why couldn't you stop the Patriots and Cordell Patterson? Because you saw it on film. He said, never going to run that. You didn't prepare for it. So you made calls that compromised that and exposed that, and Brady's not going to miss that. So it's the Patriots have benefited for a long time. I'm afraid of them. And it's that fear juice that has kept them at the top of the division, because people over prepare. This is a team that I don't think you need to over prepare for right now. Go see what they do. I would expect them, because they are going to have trouble passing the ball, to go run heavy, but I don't even know if that's even going to be successful for them, because they don't have an offensive line. Newhouse is their starting left tackle right now. You better pray they try and throw the ball 35 times a game. I'll take Jerry on Newhouse all day long. I'll take that all day.
He wouldn't put him in there if he didn't know. And we got the Butcher's Block and Patriots Talk Rum Boys Northeast joining us tonight. I guess they're taking off. You guys have a good evening. We'll see you Sunday, definitely. So thanks for joining us tonight for the live broadcast. And the rest of Hashtag Nation, thank you for once again coming on and joining us live. Paul had some remarks around the 50-minute mark of his broadcast for the post game. We have a lot of things that we have coming up for you guys, giveaways and stuff that we're going to have for you guys. So be sure you stay tuned for that. We got the merch store getting set up. I gave away about 30 wristbands during the game, and it was actually pretty cool. I got to meet a lot of people, and it was interesting. But that being said, when you talk about the Patriots, I mean, yeah, there are a lot of teams that talk themselves out of the Patriots. But, Paul, what have I echoed so many freaking times about playing this guy? Say it with me now. Man under 2 deep on Brady. Play 5 across, please. 2 deep. Make him throw second level. He doesn't have Gronk anymore. Doesn't matter. You got to stop the run. You got to make him go second level. And teams that have done that have been successful. You look at the 3 glaring examples I have are very high-profile games. There's 2 Super Bowls against the Giants. They rushed 4. They played 5 across, 2 deep. Jim Schwartz, who gave him a couple headaches when he played when Schwartz was in Buffalo. He gave Brady a couple headaches. Brady still prevailed. He's 30-3 against the Bills. Makes me sick every time I think about that. However, I mean, he's treated the Bills like the Washington Generals, and he's the Harlem Globetrotters. Like, that's how bad that the Bills have been beaten by this guy. I think, wasn't there a statistic that said Brady has more wins at Ralph Wilson Stadium than like the last 5 Buffalo Bills quarterbacks or something like that? It's bad.
I would believe
I
that.
wouldn't doubt it. But the thing that we have to circle around, it's an awful statistic, isn't it? It just is. The thing that we have to circle around is that this isn't the Bills team from the drought. This is nowhere near a Bills team from the drought. This is a team that believes they can go into any stadium and win, because when you have a defense that's as talented as defense you have, you got a shot. I mean, this team was in the game for at least a half when you had Derek Anderson as your quarterback. Wasn't it like 6-0 at halftime or 3-0 at halftime or something like that? So
it was close.
It was close. They confused him enough to do that. You best believe that Belichick and Brady are going to be studying so much about this Bills team, especially the defense, and because they have enough tape on them. But I tell you what, man, that's the magical phrase for me, man. Man under too deep. Just play man under too deep on Patriots every single freaking play. Please just do that. For the love of God,
guys, I've been listening to Mario say man under too deep on Brady for 3 years. Okay. That's right. That's what. Again, buddy, you got the again. Listen, to kind of align all the stars here, right? I know that we lost Harrison Phillips to a torn ACL, right? And which is tragic in its own right.
Brutal.
Yeah. Which is tragic.
Hey.
But Lorenzo Alexander going to be this game's MVP. Oh, hey, Everyday Flash. Hey, listen, I'll toast my strawberry Fanta to that. Thank you, sir.
Strawberry Fanta?
Listen, the kids picked it out, man. I just grabbed what was in the fridge. Don't judge me for that.
We give you 10 for $1.
Right.
Does that come with a pack of ramen?
It is what it is.
That's awesome.
So I think that Lorenzo Alexander becomes the MVP of this game, because with Lorenzo, we all know that the way that you want to pressure Brady is you want to make him step up. What happens, though, and what the Bills are doing that concerns me a little bit, is Jerry and Trent Murphy are looking to try and get all the tackles, right, to make the quarterback step up. And then Ed and that rotation on the inside are supposed to be able to collapse that pocket in. But Brady's really good at stepping into pressure and then finding a way to still buy time inside a collapsing pocket, right? Mm-hmm. He and Ben are really good at that, Big Ben. So I think what you kind of have to do is I think you're going to see Jerry and Trent kind of take a little bit more of a direct angle, right? Because you don't worry about Brady going backwards. You worry about Brady going forwards. So if I'm Buffalo, I'm trying to kind of bring those in a little bit. And that's going to make Lorenzo Alexander very dangerous, because you're going to ask him to drop down. And he's wiry when you put him down on the defensive line. We saw him do it a lot this season already. And I think that's going to be a big, big, big thing for this game. Even though you lost Harrison Phillips, Lorenzo Alexander is going to step up in a big way on the defensive line. I have that feeling, man.
I agree with you 100%. I mean, Mike Trotter comes in, Kyle Petco. Yeah, my boy from the golf episode that we did. My boy Kyle.
That's right.
I don't know why these most obscure
That's
Bills.
It. You just let that go.
These most obscure Bills become my boys. I don't know why. Dean Marlowe, Kyle Petco. That being said, I think it's very interesting to see if Edelman's even healthy for this game. I mean, he left the game with a sternum injury. There's conflicting reports on whether or not he's going to be healthy or not, and that's just the way that Belichick likes it. I mean, there's multiple reports coming on him. Oh, he's going to be fine. You know, another report says, oh, he's a cracked sternum or something. I don't know. Who cares?
The truth is, Mar, is anytime you look at the Patriots injury report,
everyone's on there.
Everybody's listed as limited.
Yeah.
They're just listed as limited, always at all times, because Belichick isn't going to give you anything until the absolute last minute. Is he required by the NFL rules to actually report injuries? Sure is. But limited, that can mean a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what he does, right? This is just the game that he plays. Sucks.
But he's been playing it for years, and Dustin Lyons, Petco's built like a house. He is. Yes, absolutely. I can't wait. I know it was funny. Like a lot of people were talking about, like Kyle Williams. Like Kyle Williams is coming back for this game. Kyle Williams probably weighs less than um, Ed Oliver right now. I mean, all those linemen, those offensive and defensive linemen,
Yeah.
when they finally retire, they can finally shed all that weight that they had to purposely carry for years. They don't have to carry it anymore.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, as far as
He's not, and this line is deep enough. It really is. Like
oh
this is
yeah,
already one of the best lines in the NFL. Like they're going to be just fine. It's a shame, right, to see him re-injure the same knee that he had ACL surgery in 2015. Right,
yeah.
it's a shame. But Harrison Phillips is a worker, and this is a position that they're already deep in, and they had two guys on the practice squad for.
Yeah.
So this is something that they weren't prepared for.
Well, I think another interesting point to bring up is the fact that, and I'll just give you some quick numbers. Ed Oliver played the lowest amount of snaps that he's played in 3 games, even though the whole defense did the defense is as a whole, they played the least amount of snaps. Ed Oliver played 36 snaps. Star Lotulelei played 21. Harrison Phillips, you got to replace those 26. I mean, Petco is a guy that can definitely just give you 26 snaps, which was 43%. Jordan Phillips played 22 snaps. Murphy played 59. Hughes played 61%. Shaq Lawson 39, and Daryl Johnson didn't play in this game. So if you start to look at across the line, it's funny because Jordan Phillips is 10th on this team in tackles. He has the most tackles from a defensive tackle position on this team, and he's only played 36% of the snaps. The one thing that's a true constant is that Wallace, White, Hyde, Poyer, Milano, and Edmonds have played 100% of the defensive snaps. So do you think that works to the advantage of the Bills or the Patriots in scouting? Because they play such rotational defensive front, they platoon guys in. Brady likes going to that quick count. That usually will mess it up a little bit. Maybe guys will get a little bit gassed earlier than they usually do because they're not allowed to platoon in. Do you think having those guys in place, the 4 cornerbacks and your 2 linebackers, consistently would be a benefit or a detriment to the Bills coming up on Sunday? I know it's early. We're in the Patriots talk now. We're gonna do it. It's happening.
Let's go. Let's go. I think right now it's right. Consistent communication across this defense is critical. So I'm fine with it right now. But once we get to week, 12, that's when it starts to bother me a little bit because the Bills didn't really go out and reinforce their linebacking group, which I think we kind of all saw could get exposed with a little bit of injury last year. Milano went down and, things got a little wiry after that. So I'm okay with it for now. You have an early bye week, right? So I think you're okay to Packers every down and every snap. You want to play Hyde and Poyer every down, every snap, you go right ahead. It's fine because you got an early bye coming up. But once you get on the other side of that bye, you need to start looking at being a little bit more creative with your snap counts because you can't ask those guys to play every single down the whole season. You just can't. There's got to be other options out there. I do one player that scares me a little bit for the Patriots. It's kind of an under the radar move, not a ton of attention being paid to it, but I think one that it's going to line against. I'm sure a lot of people in #Nation think is a Bills' weakness right now, and it's pass rush. So the Patriots, I think it was right before the season. They've activated Chase Winovich. Now, none of you might know who that is, and that's okay. Chase Winovich was the guy who, day 2 of the draft, I had him highlighted. I had a fat head of him up above my bed. Like, this was the guy that you just wanted the Bills to snag because brings pure speed on the outside for a pass rush, right? A really, really talented kid. Ends up going to the Patriots.
Of course.
Right. Which was just a stake to my heart. He hasn't played a ton, right? But he's played enough. Now he's rotating in behind Michael Bennett, so he's not getting a ton. But you need a pure speed pass rusher. This is your guy, right? So right now, from a snap count perspective, I got snap counts here. He's played 60 snaps through 3 games. Okay, 64 defensive snaps, which is about 50%. Okay, he's already got 2 sacks on the season, right? This is a kid that is pure speed. and that's going to be trouble for Buffalo. They struggle with speed rushers. I'm going to say that about Dawkins. I could say it about Naseki. I could say it about Ford. They struggle with speed rushers, and that's what he's got a really nice tool set of pass rushing moves.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be a dangerous weapon, especially since it's not like Belichick's using him 20-30% of the time on the field, 50% of the time. So he's in a pretty good rotation. He's dangerous.
Well, with the high volume that the Bills have come out in, even though I think they're fifth in the NFL, and hashtag Nation can check me on this. I think they're fifth in the NFL in rushing. Even with the high volume of passes they've been throwing in the first 3 weeks, we didn't. I know I didn't expect Allen to throw this much in the first 3 weeks, but I guess the writing was on the wall right when they cut McCoy. They were like, "Listen, it's sink or swim now, JA. Let's go. Let's see what's going on." As far as Winovich goes, Belichick is one of those guys. I mean, you have to question everything that he does, not off the field. I'm not talking about Spygate, Deflategate, all that other nonsense that everyone likes, Tuck Rule, whatever. Everyone likes to talk about. What I'm talking about is the fact that here's a guy that went to his team in Super Bowl 25 and said, "Listen, for us to win this game, Thurman Thomas has to have over 100 yards rushing." And his whole defense looked at him like, "Are you out of your mind?" He played 2 defensive linemen the whole game. Like, okay, we have to defend the pass against this team. And the way that he is able to set up his defense, I don't put anything out of the realm of possibility with Belichick because he is such an innovator in a lot of things that they do. And if it's the unfortunate incident that the Buffalo Bills lose, I know it's something we haven't heard since December of last year, because they won their last game, they won all their preseason games, and now they're 3-0. If the Buffalo Bills lose, they're playing Patriot Light down in Tennessee with Vrabel. So if they do make mistakes against the Patriots this Sunday, they can correct those the following Sunday because they're going to see the same defense. If you believe that. So my question to you, as we start to try to wrap this up a little bit, is, and we'll talk more about this Thursday. We're going to do another live stream Thursday for you guys, and I'll tell you that near the end of the broadcast as well. But make sure you subscribe and follow us on Twitter. If the Bills lose to the Patriots and they beat the Titans, is 4-1 going into the break, albeit a loss to the Patriots, a win or a loss to start the season? What do you think, Paul?
I think there's about 65% of the fan base who would accept a Patriots loss as just kind of part of the course, right?
Yeah.
And when you looked at the schedule at the beginning of the season, you look at that game, you're like, well, I'm glad we get them early, but that would be a nice game to win, right? As soon as you start saying, yeah, that'd be a nice game to win, that's like, I don't really expect us to show up there, right? So I'm not saying the Bills are in that position. I'm talking solely from this perspective, right?
Yeah.
The Bills need to win this football game, right? With that being said, if they do happen to lose this game, they still have one of the best records in the NFL.
Okay.
I mean,
now let me ask you this, because a couple of guys are talking in the chat about it. Daniel Gary says 4-1 is good going into the break. 5-0 is crazy good.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people around the nation, not hashtag nation because they're awesome, but I'm talking about a lot of people around the nation would probably, if the Bills beat the Patriots and then they beat the Titans and they go into the break 5-0. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, just putting it out there. A lot of people would still have doubts about this team. They would not be number one in the power rankings, even if they were the only undefeated team left going into the break, into their break. They would still be hovering around 3 or 4, because I think they're at 6 now in power rankings. Which who cares? September. What's wrong with you? You go into all that stuff. I really think if the Buffalo Bills go 5-0 into the break, no one will really accept that. And here's what I'm going to ask you, and it's almost like sacrilege. Do you think that, depending on how they beat those teams, do you think it's smoke and mirrors so far for the Buffalo Bills? Because if they're able to get by the Patriots, and the Patriots turn the ball over 4 times, and they beat them by 7, well, the Patriots don't turn the ball over 4 times. So it could be one of those scenarios where, all right, we beat the Patriots, but we got some lucky bounces here and there, a lot of those things, and then we beat the Titans, who roll the Browns 43-13. All right, well, we beat them. We're 5-0 at the break, but I think there would still be some trepidation because Bills fans have been punched in the face so many times by this team. I just don't know. Like, 4-1 at the breakout, except I love 3-2. You still got a winning record. 5-0. I'm ecstatic. The national recognition that they're going to get during that bye week is going to be overwhelming. So
yeah, I don't even know how to handle the Bills 5-0. I don't know how to handle that. The thought of it is pretty tough for me to handle. The thought of that, I can't even imagine what that would be like. The truth is, right? If the Patriots come out of this game on the other end, and end up losing this game, media is going to say, well, look at what they had going against them. Antonio Brown, and they only had Josh Gordon healthy, and they didn't have an offensive line, and I mean, there's going to be excuses, right? So even the Bills' victory here locally, the town might explode, right? I'm not sure people make it out of Orchard Park alive, right? Like the whole city, the stadium might just erupt immediately afterwards. But the truth of the matter is the national media is going to make all sorts of excuses.
Oh yeah. Oh, the Patriots did.
Right. And then you go in and you roll Tennessee because you should beat Tennessee. Tennessee has no quarterback. They have no quarterback play.
No.
None. You should beat Tennessee. You could stop the run. You could stop Henry. That's what you got to do to beat Tennessee. You're going to be just fine. Tennessee. You're not going to lose to Tennessee. You're going to be fine there. There's just too many things going right for the Bills right now to not be optimistic about this Patriots game.
Yeah. I'm just more comfortable as a Bills fan coming at it from the underdog role than I am as the favorite, because I don't know how to handle being the favorite.
Even if we're 5, no, we won't be the favorite, dude. Even if we're 5-0, you had 3 come from behind victories. You're gonna have whatever the hell happens on Sunday, whatever the hell happens against Tennessee. You'd have to beat Tennessee into the dirt to be considered a favorite in anything in Buffalo. You got to beat the Patriots into the dirt. You have to beat Tennessee into the dirt.
Time out right now. You're telling me. Let me see if I get this straight. Because I've known you for a long time, Paul. I just want to know. If the Buffalo Bills are 5-0 coming out of the bye, you're telling me against the Dolphins they're not going to be the favorite?
Oh, my God. Sweet Home would be the favorite against the Dolphins.
Sweet Homewood, Star Point, Williamsville South, all those teams would
yeah. Come on. In our hashtag Survivor pool, everybody's just picking who's playing the Dolphins. Like, that's what everybody's doing.
I know they're cheating.
So that's until we start getting into the division games, we're going to have a lot of winners for a while, right? Because in the Survivor pool, that's all everybody's doing is picking whoever's playing Miami. Not a bad.
I'm pretty sure we can. I'm pretty sure we can get 53 people of hashtag Nation and at least take the Dolphins to the fourth quarter. Oh, by the way, did you happen to see the I can't remember who the Cardinals played, but they had Jordan Mills was playing right tackle and he got smoked by the defensive end. Oh my God, it was so funny. How come nobody talks about those players? They only talk about the successful players that leave Buffalo. They never talk about the dumpster fires like Jordan Mills and John Miller. But all right, listen, we're ending the.
We're gonna have a seat for the 1 month of Marshall Newhouse that we had, which was a month long enough for me. We're gonna have a front row seat next week watching Marshall Newhouse doing this. Can't wait. Cannot wait. Can you believe we traded him? Somebody actually gave us something for him. Can't wait.
Bag of balls? Is that what we got?
The guy. Yes. Found a place to put it in.
I have no idea who you are anymore. Okay, listen. Ladies and gentlemen of Hashtag Nation, if you're a new subscriber, usually we're in the car. We do apologize. I actually went to the game this weekend. Paul did the post game by himself. He did a wonderful job. Right above my phone, you have our Twitter handle. Right above Paul's phone, you have the subscribe button. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. We have all Bills content. It's I'm gonna quit this stream and I'm gonna start making some videos that I have that you guys like me to make and all that other good stuff. We are going to be going live. All right, but before we do that, on Saturday 8 a.m. we are going to have our sportscaster exclusive pregame for the Bills Patriots. On Thursday, we'll be back inside the phones in here around 10 o'clock, just to let you guys know. And then on Sunday, Sportscaster and YouTube simulcast, we're going to be calling the game. Paul and I will give you play-by-play, and it's going to be in real time. So you can just turn your TV on, turn the volume all the way down. You don't need to hear Spiro Diaz or whoever the hell they're sending to Buffalo this week. You can hear me and Paul call the game. And then we're going to have our post-game directly after that. And then we'll lead into next week. Hopefully, the Buffalo Bills will be 4-0 with a complete stomping of the Patriots. But until we do that, Paul, what do you got for the nation? You got anything else for the nation tonight?
Oh, I think I might.
Oh boy,
I think I might. I think it might be a little loud though.
I don't know.
I don't know. Here we go. You ready?
I don't know if I am.
Oh yeah.
Hands up and throw your head back and come on now. The Bills are making it happen now. Stand up now, come on and shout. Yeah.
Can I just tell you something?
That's how we take the show out, boys. That's how we do it.
Can I make a suggestion to the Buffalo Bills, please?
Oh, come on.
What's that?
Can they stop playing that after field goals?
I know, right? I know. Oh well.
All right, we're out of here. That's Paul. I'm Mario. This is Hashtag Sports. We'll see you guys Thursday at 10 o'clock. And be sure to sub and watch all the videos. That's all I got for you. All right, take it easy, guys. We'll see you.